It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. Your best of bias. Yeah, it's the best of bias. We're gonna start off with some pop culture. I know you guys have been following the Johnathan Majors news. You guys heard about that? Everything that's going on with him. I updated the pod a couple of, I think it was last week, with what actually happened. And a couple of weeks before that, I was kind of like, Johnathan Majors didn't do it. I'm supporting him. A lot of evidence has come out that the girl is crazy. She did everything to herself type shit. We saw the video of him running down the street from the lady. So what else could come out to have him be guilty? We thought that Johnathan Majors would still be able to play King the Conqueror, and he would just be able to nip all this shit in the bud. Who's on here? But how do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about Johnathan Majors? Do you think he should have still been able to be Kang? It's going to be interesting to get a female's perspective on this, because I was kind of talking about it to myself the whole time. Chelsea, how you feel about the Johnathan Majors news? Do you think he should have deserved to be fired given the evidence and stuff like that?
I mean, not necessarily, but also as a woman, when you in that situation, somebody chasing after you, sometimes everybody acts a little crazy. So I don't think he should have got fired from everything, given the situation is definitely unfortunate. But he was a very good actor to play in that role, which to replace him now, I feel like would be trash in every sense of the word.
I do too, me personally, because he did get charged with third degree, I think it was third degree assault, and it was harassment. And he got that from him trying to throw her in the car after she was trying to chase him and hit him, based on what he saw or what she saw on his cell phone. So she saw the messages, she freaked out, started hitting him. He tried to get out of the car and run. He grabbed her, tried to put her back in the car. In doing so, I guess he hurt her hand and she hit her head or something like that. That was enough to get third degree harassment or third degree assaults. And some of the messages he was sending her or something like that, they considered harassment, which held a sentencing of a year in jail or probation, which I think he's going to get the latter. But just the conviction of guilty, after all the evidence we've seen, the stuff that he was saying, we've all kind of publicly deemed as not very bad. It just seems as though in New York, they take domestic violence really seriously in favor of the woman. No matter if it's a man being abused or calls the police, they usually still arrest the man. And this, I think it was in New Jersey or New York or something when this shit happened. So despite of all the evidence, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was pretty much done. What were you saying?
So, like, in my opinion, despite of whatever evidence, like, I don't believe in a woman hitting a man and not being expected to not get hit back in any sense of the word. So it's like, if you're gonna throw hands, be ready for hands to be thrown back. Man. Realistically, as bad as that sounds for most people, as a woman, I will say you don't hit somebody unless you expect them to hit you back.
Yeah.
If he were to just be hitting on her and, you know what I mean, she didn't do anything back, whatever the case may be, then yes, I think that all that is deserved. I don't believe that probation or jail time, though, is a necessity, in my opinion, which, to be honest, I'll probably get crucified for it, but still, I don't believe that jail time is a necessity. Because if a female's going to you hit her back. Like,
are you talking about in any situation or in this Johnathan Major situation given?
If you did not hit somebody or spit on somebody or do something crazy and a female hits you, 100% hit them back. Like, and that's like literally not the popular opinion in a situation, but as a woman, you know better. And I feel like a lot of women do hit men because, in a sense, you're expecting them not to hit you back, which is wrong because you wouldn't hit a female like that. So why are you going to hit a man like that?
I don't want to say I agree because that's what playing with fire. But I feel like in Johnathan Major's situation, It wasn't even that because I think he's smart enough to know he was dealing with a white woman. If he was to abuse her in any kind of way, given his celebrity, it would be all in the news and the situation would be what it is right now. So I just find it weird as though he did everything right in the sense of trying to exonerate himself. He gave all the evidence that he needed to give in order to exonerate himself, but I feel like he still was slapped with a charge that was so petty that it was just enough to tarnish his reputation and get him fired. And in hindsight, it's not going to mean anything. You know what I mean? And I personally think Marvel handled it wrong. But what they're going to do to replace Kang, I don't know yet. But I still feel like they handled it wrong. Damon, you just joined us again. How do you feel about the Johnathan Majors verdict and how Marvel is handling it?
I mean, I do think it's a sticky situation, obviously. But it's in a Disney aspect, it's better for them to keep hands clean, right? And it's just not even that it's just not a good look. It's just it's not the message that they want to portray. Um, it's the opposite of the Dallas Cowboys, right? We take whoever in whatever they do.
Well,
Um,
how do you feel about
but
people saying, what about
like
Robert Downey Jr.? How about Jeremy Renner? How about those guys that they let be Disney stars?
we live in a different time.
That's it? Oh, he froze. Everybody looked like they froze. Hello?
I feel
Oh,
it's
sorry.
we where it's like let me see say my ass. Is everybody
That's just
Oh yeah,
maybe I
sorry.
think
It
Pat
was
might be froze.
it was frozen for a little bit. Sorry about that,
you.
guys. Can you guys hear me? Hello,
I
hello?
mean,
Oh,
I can hear you.
okay.
Damon, I
Yeah,
agree.
hey.
Yes, but as far as agreeing with you or not, I still don't think that like Pat said, like with Robert Downey Jr., all that stuff. I think that it's unfortunate that it happens to be that just because that is a current subject that everyone wants to cancel everybody because they would rather not deal with supporting somebody
Right.
versus like what everybody's personal, like what your opinion is. Like if you look at the situation, it looked wrong. Like after the video came out, I don't believe he was in the wrong. I mean, people could think what they want, but I don't believe he was in the wrong. So I don't think canceling somebody based off that is any better given our day and time or whatever the case may be versus canceling everybody else that's in the Marvel franchise or in any Disney movie that's done some type of fuckery.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
and I don't think it was okay, but I could understand why and where they're coming from.
From a legal
Um,
aspect, yeah.
yeah, for me, I think it's a hard situation. It's a hard decision to make, and you can kind of go either way about it. It just matters what road you want to go down and what battle you want to fight.
Yeah, me personally, I kind of believe that we live in a PC culture now. I feel like people decide they're actually more reactional than I don't know, before they actually can think about the moves that they're going to make, they think about their bottom line before they actually think about things rationally. Um, you know what I mean? I feel like they don't really wait for the public to calm down. I feel like they make haste decisions, and I don't know. I feel like something like this, personally, this is the most clean somebody can come out of a situation like that. I feel like, you know what I mean? This.
Hmm.
It's just kind of crazy for us to most of the general public to be like, okay, he did nothing wrong. We all seen that he's done nothing wrong. We presented this evidence. We were told this evidence was going to be a saving grace, but at the same time, none of it matters because technically you did hurt her by throwing her in the car. Even though she was trying to beat you up and chase you down the street, you caused bodily harm, so you're guilty of this.
See, and that's the whole reason why it doesn't sit well with me is because even like if roles were reversed and it was a man, like man or woman or whatever, they would not have crucified him the way that they would have a woman. Like if a man was chasing you down and you ended up botting him and he ended up hitting his head, they're not going to crucify you the way that they would a man, which as a woman, I don't feel like is right. I feel like both, regardless if a man, in every sense, people believe that they're more powerful than or whatever. I don't think that that's an appropriate way to go about it. In my personal opinion, I do, like Damon said, understand why Disney went about it the way they did because they're very much a family friendly organization. So I do understand that they want to be politically correct in every sense. But what's the matter if you get all the evidence and you still are like, all right, bye. It don't
Yeah,
matter. You're
right. Especially since we live in this culture where every other day we hear about some allegation that's coming up that's supposed to be hella true, but it's ultimately just a money grab to get money out of these people. And that shit happens. Like, for example, well, in this situation, I guess if she did try to get any money, she didn't get any money. She just lost her money line by her boyfriend getting fired from all the jobs he would have got and you not being in that relationship anymore. You fucked up your golden ticket, pretty much. But in other cases, like the case with Vin Diesel, this girl is accusing him of sexual assault from back in the day. I think he grabbed
Dominic
her.
Toretto?
Yeah, Mr. Dom. It wasn't about
Yes,
family at that
Dom.
time.
They
He
came
was
for
trying.
Dom.
He was trying to make a family at that time. I'm just playing. I don't know what he did. I think he grabbed somebody's butt or something like that, which is wrong. Definitely, you can't just be grabbing butts willy nilly.
Let's get that. It's
Oh,
wrong.
Let's get yeah, you know what I mean. But you know what I'm saying. I can't say when a victim is allowed to come out, but if something did happen to you, you feel strongly about it. I feel like you should come out in the time. I shouldn't feel like you should be able to wait until you hear about a bunch of cases that are coming out and everybody's getting money out there nowadays. Now let's take it to court and try to get 50 racks because they're giving out money out here. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of fucked up. Did you guys hear about the Vin Diesel thing?
I did hear about it.
I did not.
No.
I heard about it. I agree with you. I will never, whether the female went through it or not, I will never victim blame, but also you came out with that shit how much later? Like it bothered you that much? Speak up when it happened. If you didn't speak up when it happened, then I feel like you're just doing it again for money. And I feel like that's inappropriate too. Because obviously it wasn't that big of a deal because you didn't bring that shit up how long ago?
He wasn't
See, and
down then.
that's what that's what I don't like either, is where in the case of like, okay, one person comes out, then all right, now 18 people have come out at this person and done this stuff. And like I'm also torn about it though, because I mean, I understand that it is a very touchy subject for a woman. And maybe not all women have the strength to come out at that time, but I can't judge whether it's true or not, right? I can't judge whether a woman's like, "Oh, he made this comment about me, but let me take it to another level and be like, "Oh yeah, he grabbed my ass in the elevator," you know? Like, so it's because I mean, you got 17 other people backing you up on some
All
shit. So
right.
like, why
Yeah.
not elevate it a little bit? So,
And you
and it
can't
happened
always
20
put
years ago. You're
yourself
not
in the
pulling up
victim
footage.
shoes. Yeah, yeah. You don't know how the victim
And
felt in that moment. You can't really discredit somebody for feeling that way. But once you start putting monetary numbers like on those things that happen to you,
Once you
that's
start
kind of
asking for money,
yeah, that just kind of gets kind of crazy. I understand justice, but it's like, oh, this person said some inappropriate comments that made me feel some type of way back in the day, and I was
oh,
traumatized. And from
just
then
run
on,
me at that point.
yeah, and it's
Like is wrong.
what'd you say? Say one more time.
I said I feel like that part is wrong. Is it
Yeah,
like once you're waiting until everybody else does because you're like, all right, somebody else can corroborate the shit. Now where's my money at? Then you're in the wrong. Because
right.
if you're really so mortified or upset or hurt or emotionally damaged about a situation, again, not victim blaming, but say it when it bothers you. Or like say it, but don't ask for no money in return in a situation.
Right, yeah, because
Like
that kind of discredits it in a way.
that's also why I feel like for me is that like as a woman, you discredit all females because when you sit there and you start to ask for money in a certain situation because something you claim was traumatizing to you, you're only saying it's traumatizing because everybody else is backing you up and you can get some money out of the situation.
Yeah, and again, it tarnishes it for a lot of people that are going through that
That are
situation.
really going through some stuff, and that's where it gets touchy in a situation.
All right, and I also feel like it's weird though, fellas. You can back me up on this as well. how it's not taken very seriously when men are assaulted or say they're assaulted. People kind of laugh at them, make fun of them. I don't ever see men winning any money for being assaulted, especially
Johnny
when
Depp.
it's by. Well, yeah. You shouldn't have to be Johnny Depp though.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know
about
what
to
I'm saying?
say that's one person, and that's
Yeah.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to be Johnny Depp to be able to win those kind of cases. But
Agreed.
you know what I mean? Because recently, Charlie Sheen, he was actually assaulted, you know what I'm saying? And everybody just thinks, oh, Charlie Sheen's the party guy, has sex with hella women, always hella drugs, hella drunk. Sorry, Charlie Sheen, I don't think that about you. I love you, dog. I love 2.5 Men.
He's a G.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So recently he was at his house and this lady, I guess was torturing him, dropping garbage on his lawn, throwing sticky stuff on his car, some sticky fluids on his car. And then one day, I guess he was super fed up, came to his door, knocked on his door, forced his way in, strangled him or tried to strangle him, and ripped off his shirt. To where he kind of fought her off and pushed her out the house and called the police. She was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon, and burglary in this instance. How much jail time do you think she got in this case?
Oh man.
Do you think it was taken as seriously as a common domestic violence, or not even domestic violence? Because this is a stranger just fucking breaking into a man's house and assaulting him.
As a woman, I feel like it's very unfortunate, but I feel like it should happen because realistically, like again, like you said, I'm very big on the gender roles, and I feel like that's very wrong. That if a man were to do that, that fool would be in jail for how long?
Yeah, for real.
That if you know is no, whether you're a man or a woman, and regardless if a man says no and he adamantly says no, especially a stranger popping up to your house doing some crazy shit, and you call the cops, and she gets a slap on the wrist, that's so wrong to me. And again, discredits every woman therefore after.
Right, especially celebrity wise. It's like, okay, any celebrity that happened to, I think they're just downplaying it, one, because he's a male and he's Charlie Sheen. I feel like they expect this kind of stuff to happen. He has a bunch of scorned lovers that he's had in the past, and maybe he had sex with her and she's mad or something. And it's fucked up to even assume that kind of shit, because if it was on the other foot, we would have not even had to ask those questions. You would have heard it all over the news. And I heard about this on fucking TMZ on Twitter. Like, I didn't even hear no like big posts or anything like that. It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. The best of bias. Yeah, it's the best of bias.
You are now listening to the best of bias.